Welcome to the African Utility Week studio. I'm Nicolette Pomba-Van-Zyl, editor of ESI Africa, and today I am speaking with Mamadou Biteye, who is the Managing Director for Africa at the Rockefeller Foundation. We're going to be talking about renewable energy and what to expect from mini grids in Africa. Thank you for joining me, Mamadou.
Good morning.
I'd like to start off with what you're going to be presenting at African Utility Week on the role of PPPs and what we can expect from your presentation.
Yes, thank you very much. Today, among many activities, one that I will be very pleased to be at is really the launching and presentation of Africa Green Co. Africa Green Co is a power offtake intermediary. We have been very proud to have supported this project, which is a perfect example of public-private partnership that would allow actually greater, to reduce risk, de-risk investments of power generators and actually bring in more investment into Africa in the energy generation, which is actually very much needed if we know the gap and the number of millions of Africans who do not have access to electricity today and the time needed to fill that gap. Bringing mechanisms that would allow increased investment in the sector becomes really important. And what is the role of really different stakeholders partnering to make that happen. That's one area, and the other area is really talking about approaches also to fast-track access to electricity, both for lighting and productive use, particularly in rural areas where there is a big gap. And what is the role of grid solutions, particularly the mini grids, in accelerating that access. So those are the areas I will be very much interested in today.
And do you think that the audience is going to be surprised by a company like Africa Green Co and what they are offering?
Well, actually, I think that they will be pleased because we see through the feasibility study that it was a major gap in the space, whereby actually governments and utilities face challenges to have investments because of sometimes inefficiencies or the need to bring sovereign guarantees, etc. So the sector is seen as very risky. So bringing offtake an intermediary that will take the risk of the investors, but also develop a market that would allow to transfer surplus energy to places where there is deficit of energy. All of that doing it on a commercial basis, whereby all investors are actually secured and energy flows. I think that is really has been a gap. And seeing Africa Green Co bringing a solution to that will be, I think, people will be pleased about that.
It's a very interesting funding solution that they are putting on the table, and there's been a lot of growth in the renewable energy sector, as well as interest in mini grids or micro grids. What do you think is hindering the exponential growth of mini grids, off-grid solutions in Africa?
You know, first of all, I think the issue is that many of the African countries are overly dependent on fossil fuels, which actually are a very expensive way of generating electricity, particularly for countries that are non-oil producing countries. So it's a big part of their bill. The energy bill is big. Yet, these countries have huge potential on developing alternative energies, whether it is solar, wind, water, But we also have a lack of capacity in really better balancing those different and making the most effective use of those energy sources. So power, solar and mini grids offer really, as I said earlier, the opportunity to not to supplement, if you wish, the grid, the national grid, which will take years to get to some areas. And it gives opportunity to people who are off the grid and can be connected to the grid. So there are many opportunities around off-grid solutions, particularly mini grids, which actually makes it as an area or an opportunity that others are looking at today to develop.
It's quite a bit that is happening in the market, not just around investment in energy. And I note that you attended the World Economic Forum on Africa in Durban recently. So what can you share that you learned at the World Economic Forum with delegates here at African Utility Week?
Well, you know, the World Economic Forum this year in Durban was focusing on the theme of building inclusive economies, responsibly but fast. It is a place where actually energy plays a big role in bringing inclusion, because by producing opportunity for lighting, you enable children to go to school, you reduce insecurity, etc. By providing enough energy for productive use, you can allow further mechanization of agriculture. You can give the foundation for huge entrepreneurship and different manufacturing activities that provide economic opportunities to people. So one of the things that was really important is how do we fast track that? How do we increase investment? Then what is the role of blended finance in this? What is the role of unusual partnerships? Because if people in the same sector talk to each other, which is very important, but it is also more important for multi-stakeholder, multi-sectoral stakeholder partnerships that will really bring a different approach, different solutions, breakthroughs that will help actually advance in that.
So
yeah.
You've been working in many different countries and sectors, and you have so much knowledge. And I'd like to delve into that and see what pearls of wisdom you could share with African local companies that want to get into the energy sector in terms of either renewable energy, mini grids, microgrids, or even looking at the manufacturing of panels, solar panels.
Yeah, no, what we see right now on the continent is that in the energy sector, we see many of the multinationals, the foreign corporates, which are important because they bring knowledge, decades of experience, and technology, which is very important. But if the energy sector has to be and develop to what we need, actually local capacity, local capital, local entrepreneurship will be key to that. Because it's not just about producing the energy, but it is also harnessing and using that energy to power actually economic and social development. So there should be policies, the type of legislation that enables that. There should be funding facilities, capacity building mechanisms that would allow actually local entrepreneurs, local companies to build their capacity, their technicity, and be able to be there and contribute significantly to the development of the energy sector in their own countries.
And I think that with the Rockefeller Foundation and its 104 years experience, you can help facilitate that.
Well, actually, through our more than a centennial existence and our work in the different sectors, whether it is health, whether it is agriculture, and whether it is energy today, we believe that solutions, first and foremost, should be local, and they should be suitable and responding to local challenges. So we are all about actually bringing together experienced local initiative to collaborate for indigenous solutions that actually work for the people.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. I look forward to hearing more about what the Rockefeller Foundation is going to be doing for the rest of the year. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much and have a great week.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. I'm Nicolette Pomba-Van-Zyl, editor of ESI Africa, and I was speaking with Mamadou Biteye from the Rockefeller Foundation. Thank you so much.